Just walk away. Just walk away, and there will be an end to the horror.
And we're live. Welcome back, everybody. This is MGTOW Chats, a fine Friday evening, episode number 86. And our guest today, and a returning guest, I believe it is his third time on the show, is Ed Chiarini. And we are going to be talking, again, we're going to continue our talk on weaponized anthropology. And I believe that it ties in quite well with the work that Ed does, because no matter how much we point out that our cultures and our society is being engineered, that's one thing, but it's another thing to kind of point out the people that are responsible for it. And I think a lot of people get caught up on that. Before we start, I'm going to read the Red Pill piece by Lamprey once more for you guys. The Red Pill is a life hack. It's the continuation of asking questions till you are satisfied with the answer that you receive. It's knowing those subliminal nuances messages are for you to uncover, and for those of the horde to become conditioned to its subservience. Yes, the red pill is a one-track mind where you'll be unable to cleanse yourself of the knowledge that will torment your psyche into your twilight, as it forms congenital distortions, detonations, leaving you fragmented and isolated. Considering those who are nearest and dearest to you are parsimonious drones unwilling to grasp the hilt of Occam's razor, and dare not disturb the drone that you have plucked from the babbling horde. It's too preoccupied indulging on the latest and greatest fads and trinkets. The red pill is a psychological form of op-art that once you see it by slowly withdrawing your optimistic perceptions, your pathetic dream world, you cannot unsee the toxic dynamism with its breathtaking speeds, and you will always be able to recognize its tangible and intangible framework wherever you are and wherever you may go. And at times you may be fixated on one's mosaic mess for longer periods than others, because you see everything for what they are not, for what they are told. So I wish you all the best of luck as we approach this second decade of the millennial and reconcile with the pillars of the new dawn, which swings hammers of weaponized anthropology that is seeped into every meaningful aspect of our societies. Just know, my friends, that I have inoculated you from the malignant malaise plaguing Earth's plane. And if you guys are wondering, that's Lamprey clicking away there.
I'm clicking.
What is the...
All right, give me a second.
Yeah, you fix your clicking. Anyway, gentlemen that are tuned in, again, Ed is back, and I read that little piece by Lamprey, and we did that on the last Weaponized Anthropology show. And what I again am trying to say about that is that we're talking about a culture war. That's one way to say it. And another way that's more commonly, a phrase that's more commonly known, is social engineering, where the way our societies are shaping, how they're shaping, and how it's the directions it seems are being pushed into is not an accident. Okay? It is being engineered. And the difference between us pointing that out and what Ed does in his work is that he's showing us who these people are, and he's got some damn good evidence for it. And that's what we want to do today, is we want to introduce Ed's concept into this social engineering and kind of shine a light. And we've done this before. We're going to do it again and hopefully keep doing it. Is shine a light on these puppeteers. And as we get into that, the one thing I want to bring up, Ed, and that I think we'll start off the show with, as I mentioned before, is because yesterday YouTube rolled out its new policy of basically censoring whatever their social engineering agenda doesn't agree with. If you disagree with their social engineering agenda, you will be censored. And as I said before, at least half of all of the social media commentators that I am subscribed to all made videos yesterday saying, I am demonetized. So we want to kind of get into what you mentioned about what's been happening to you on that platform in the
it's really strange that happened to them, because for the past 4 years I've been fighting with YouTube to try to become monetized. I used to be monetized. I used to make plenty of good money on YouTube until they shut me down. But as of yesterday, I was monetized.
Same channel, everything?
Yeah. Well, no, not the original channel that was the Dallas Goldbug channel, but my current channel. It was just they have been stopping me from doing any type of monetization at all. I mean, I can't even do any live stream from it.
Right.
I can't do any membership from it. So basically, it was to the point where I was basically giving up on them. But then all of a sudden I get this notice that I'm monetized. So I tried to monetize one of the videos, and it said that, of course, it wasn't suitable for their advertising.
Mm-hmm.
So it stopped me, but yet, I'm still monetized, which is really strange.
Yeah, that is odd, because the other thing is this whole kind of purge that's been happening recently. Now, this happened last year, kind of in the fall of last year. YouTube did the same thing. And everybody, it kind of comes in these waves, and it's all planned.
Sure.
And a lot of people kind of are trying to blame it on this person tried to bitch at this person, and it becomes a drama that we all follow.
Sure, that's what they like.
Yeah, they love to engineer these dramas, but the reality is, I think maybe what happened to you, because I gave up monetization. I was like you. Every time I uploaded a live stream, it just came back, we can't monetize this particular video. And
sure.
So if every video that you can't do it, I just gave up. I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not really on their list, and we have a small channel, so I'm not too worried about it at this moment. But a lot of people that depend on the money, they're gone.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I had 30,000 subscribers and over 8 million views on mine, and they shut me down. But the funny thing was about it is they shut me down, but they allowed my videos to remain monetized with ads. So they wouldn't let me collect that money for the ads that they showed on my videos. So for 2 years, they collected money on my videos that I wasn't allowed to monetize.
Mm-hmm.
And it was until I threatened them with a lawsuit that they decided to back down, and they let me monetize again. And that happened for about 3-4 months, and then all of a sudden they shut me down again. So
yeah,
it's been on and off. But each time they wipe my numbers clean, or they kill my account, and I have to start a new one and start over from scratch.
Yeah, it's almost like they got monkeys doing this stuff. Like,
it's hard to get a live person to comment from their end. Unless you really have a lawyer to force the issue, they don't respond to you. They don't feel like they need to even give you any response whatsoever. And you notice I had a video a long time ago that actually it came from a letter that was written by an employee, claimed employee, about what was going on inside of Google, and how they were they were attacking certain accounts with AdSense and waiting right up to the moment they were supposed to pay them and then canceling them and keeping the money. So there was all this corruption that was going on inside. And I kind of believe it because they attacked me for posting that. And, it was just really horrible because once I posted the video, I had all these people, thousands of people contact me saying, yeah, that happened to me. That happened to me. And so there's a lot of people out there that they're really going after and causing a lot of problems in their lives when it comes to the money. I mean, seriously, a lot of people make a lot of money from it. And it's
amazing. Their livelihood is taken away like that.
Yes. Yeah. Just with all of a sudden, and then there's no reason behind it. They don't give you any excuse. They don't give you any reasoning.
Yes.
You shouldn't be depending on YouTube for your income. That's
sure.
And everyone should have seen this coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
And there's no alternatives. I mean, if Trump really cared, he'd get off of Twitter and say, "Follow me, everybody." We're gonna start a movement, But
that's true.
Trump's not doing that. Why isn't Trump doing that?
Are you guys hearing it clicking?
Yeah, it's clicking. You're clicking.
What?
You're not in a good spot, man. You got to move to your sweet spot.
All right.
You got to get. He wants to be by the fire. That's why. He's got to be comfortable by the fire. So, but it's not the sweet spot. But
very good.
Yeah, it's still going.
It's still clicking. All right, hold on.
And for the listeners, sorry about the buffering. Again, this is another thing too that it's hard to pinpoint with YouTube because I was running real smooth for all of last year and most of this year on my streams, and then I started having problems. And one of my guests said, "Well, you should just plug right into the modem. Like, don't even do Wi-Fi." I said, "Yeah, that's a great idea," and I did, and it solved the problem. But now it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's better. Am I better?
No.
Oh, God.
One of the other techniques that they were using to try to censor people was if you noticed the URL that your video, when you uploaded a video to post, some of the URLs went to not to youtube.com, but went to a foreign server. And because of that, they were routing you on a long route, a long way around. So it would basically cause you to be slower than the rest of the videos that were served up faster on youtube.com.
Yeah.
So that was a little technique that they were using to cause problems with people.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I noticed all my videos, of course, went to foreign servers too.
Yeah, I'm sure they got lots of techniques, man. I'm sure I'm sure they can throttle your bandwidth if they want.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And you're right. And Lamprey was right. There's really very little alternative when it comes to doing, especially live streaming. There's very little alternative. A lot of these people who depended on YouTube for their livelihood, they didn't even say, "Hey, by the way, just a heads up, this content we don't like, so you better change it or else." They don't even do that.
Well, that's the other thing about it is, who says that the content's not liked? What advertiser says that, okay, everybody's watching this video. I have, 8 million views on this one video that I have. So obviously some people want to see it. So wouldn't you think that an advertiser would look at that and go, "Hey, you got a lot of hits on that, so I'm going to put my ad on there," regardless of what the video is.
Yes.
I mean, so that right there shows that there's something going on that's way bigger and deeper. But when corporations are saying, "Okay, we're not going to let us have a profit on this guy that's very, very popular. We're just going to take him down and just throw away the profit."
Oh yeah,
so, something's going on.
Well, it doesn't. That's the thing is like, and you always say that. I've been watching your stuff for a long time, and you're right, man. I mean, follow the money to a degree. Where, look, if you're a company and you want to sell advertisement, and someone is getting 8 million views, do you care?
Exactly.
What the content
unless it's a total conflict of what your corporation says. But I mean, I'm talking about this, and they want to sell pizza ads on my stuff. That's fine. What's that have to do with it?
Yeah, that's not going to matter. Hey, Lamprey, what's going on over there, man?
It's so bad.
Are you getting electrocuted?
You're getting worse.
Really?
You're getting worse,
Sorry,
buddy.
guys. All right, hold on.
Haven't mute for a while. Yeah, it's really bad today. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, like you said, a lot of it really comes down to, hey, man, do you think they really care what I'm talking about if they're just trying to sell pizza?
Yeah,
and it makes me wonder too about, and how much this ties into this kind of social engineering, because on our side of the social engineering spectrum, and what we usually talk about on this channel, which I believe ties into everything you talk about, it's a multi-headed hydra, I think.
Sure, absolutely.
Is that, for example, let's say there's big companies like Gillette putting out ads saying that men are toxic.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah. Now there's a big backlash of people going, "What? Like, why would you do that? Men are your number one. That's who buys your product. Why would you? Why would you make an entire minute-long video just saying how horrible men are?"
Unless it's any publicity, there's no such thing as bad publicity, and the more that they can get people stirred up, the more there is that focus on their product, and possibly then they can twist it around at the end, or then of course they got free advertising, whatever, but they could blame it on an advertiser or blame it on the studio that designed the ads for them.
Yes,
it's a lot of things they could do, but it's free advertising, of course, with any type of tension that they can create.
Exactly. So in that case, they don't. There's a term in the circles that I peruse through on YouTube and social media. It's called "Go Get Woke, Go Broke," and I don't think that's true, because these people, they can push their political agendas in advertising and piss people off, but they don't lose money.
No.
How about now? How do I
Nope.
sound?
No.
Horrible.
You're still mad, man. And our video output's still low. I can't believe it, man. I put down the bit rate and everything, and it's still whatever. We got viewers. But yeah.
Okay, how about now?
Nope.
Oh, you're clicking, buddy.
Oh, hold on.
And that's the same. That was the same on Skype too.
Yeah.
But another thing too, on the same lines, Ed, is now you talked about how it was funny how you got monetized while everybody else was getting demonetized.
Yeah,
But
I think it's just a matter of time before they'll switch mine off. It's just I think it was just an algorithm that happened to click it on, and they'll notice it soon. As soon as we get off of here, I'll see. I'll get a notice.
yeah, exactly. And you also mentioned to me you don't have a Facebook page anymore.
No, I don't have a Facebook page anymore. They basically what they were doing was they were picking old posts that I did. I mean, posts that were years old, and saying that of course it was bullying somebody. Of course, which it wasn't. Reporting real news about people doing real things is not bullying. They should really think about what they're doing before they do it. So possibly, they wouldn't do it if they knew that they were going to get caught. But they get caught, and I report it, and of course I'm the bully for pointing out what they did. So they would find me. Well, they wouldn't find me, but they would put me on Facebook jail for 30 days. And the day that I would get out, they would pick another one and say, "Oh, you violated here. Here's another one." Put me in for another 30 days. So that went on about 4 or 5 times. And basically after that, I was just like, okay, well, we know what they're going to do. They're just going to continue to suppress the work just because of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I Am Serious Facebook page, I had to give it up.
Really?
Yeah, I had to give it up because like I've have that, and that's my newest account. Like I set up that one after I had these other ones, and I thought, okay, well, I'll dedicate this one to my YouTube content. And then one day, out of nowhere, they just all of a sudden I can't log in. They don't tell you why, and they go, "We want your phone number." And I said, "Well, you already have my phone number." Yeah, they wanted my phone number, and then they wanted a photograph of me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've had to give him a picture of my license several times to Facebook and to YouTube.
Yeah. They wanted
many times.
What? Are you serious, guys?
Oh yeah, many times.
Facebook,
wow.
Yeah, Facebook wanted a picture of my face and my phone number. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like
they want it from my license.
Yeah, unbelievable, man.
That's scary.
Yeah, I mean, I live such a public life though, so I really didn't mind. But I could see where a lot of people that would totally be that's way too much. So
yeah,
I see there is a big movement for people getting rid of their social media accounts. So I applaud that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there's alternatives, but who knows how those will do and how long they'll last.
Yeah, and when you think about it, I mean, it's social media. It's a waste of time. It's really okay. Great. I do meet a lot of people that I wouldn't normally meet. I understand that. That's great. It's a bonus. But when it comes to the time that you're putting into watching these comments, and who cares really? So it's like, get rid of it and
well, a lot of
join society again.
Yeah, and that's the good thing. A lot of your work is like you do a lot of foot soldiering, man.
Oh yeah.
So that's good. And I think more people have to do that. I think more people kind of have to hit the dirt and get out there.
Sure.
And I mean,
Sure.
do you do you want to get into more about kind of what happened with your website and stuff?
Sure, we can. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that website was attacked so many times in the past. It's just, from personal attacks that people have made, allegations that I was posting hate stuff about certain individuals, and then of course the hosting company canceled my account, and I had to move the servers to, of course, Canada now, where they're protected a little bit, because the people that attacked me in the United States went after them up there, but then they made it personal and attacked the owner of the hosting company, and he backed me up and said, he'll protect me. So that was a good sign of, at least I'm getting protected a little bit from these fake attackers. But it really brought bad attention to my website, and I was just getting hacked by Chinese hackers and Russian hackers, and they were just doing denial of service attacks and just bringing the hit rate down to the point where Google has delisted me now. So
wow,
yeah,
that's incredible.
I mean, it was up there within the top 100,000 websites for the United States, and now it's basically delisted.
God, yeah, your website was incredible back in the day.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, it was getting about 8 million views a month. Yeah,
yeah, man. And you guys, I got the name of listeners. The name of his site is up. I know if you're already familiar with him, you know this. But any new listeners, please go to Ed's website, wellaware1.com. It's right in front of your face there, and just check out his work. It's absolutely fabulous. And
I haven't spent any time updating it, so I apologize for everyone. But I'll be getting back into it and posting stuff pretty soon.
Right on. So AM sent me something early this morning about something to do with FEMA.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yeah, so I've seen maybe in my life only like 2 FEMA trucks. I didn't even see any for Hurricane Sandy. So
really?
Where FEMA is needed the most, talking absolute devastation in the Northeast, no FEMA trucks whatsoever, FEMA help. And I'm on the South. I'm on Long Island. It's, the Atlantic Ocean's right here.
Yeah.
No FEMA trucks.
Well, we
have. So I found that to be, they're supposed to be to help us. That's the whole idea. FEMA's for what? For flood. Obviously when there's a natural disaster. Yet here's a natural disaster, nowhere to be seen.
They usually come in afterwards, I believe. But Homeland Security, I've seen them a lot around. They wear their little jackets and say Homeland Security on them, but and they're, of course, FEMA's part of them, but. I haven't really seen any FEMA trucks anywhere during any type of disasters, except for on the news.
Yeah, well, getting into that, I mean, coming off of just basically, I wanted to add too, because we'll get into the stuff you sent me, and into some of these characters, but right before we do, I just wanted to kind of trail off with what we were saying before. Is that as far as the censorship is concerned, that's been happening. I mean, you are living proof that even your own website isn't 100% safe.
Correct. Yeah.
And a lot of these people that I've been hearing in the last couple of days, a lot of these talking heads, these YouTube talking heads that they publish very controversial material. Maybe not as controversial as yours, but it's up there. And they're all like, "Okay, guys, we're all gonna move over here.
Mm-hmm.
We're all gonna make our own website, and we're gonna all do this." And it's not as safe as people think it is.
Yeah, once again, the divide and conquer, that's what the government has used forever.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever any group gets large enough where they start to make a voice known and start to make things happen, they, of course, send people in to split the group up and cause infighting. And then, of course, that's the way they win. As long as we're not unified with our voice there, we have no power behind us.
Well, they passed they retrofitted the Smith-Mund Act, where the government now has the right to push propaganda on its own citizens.
Yeah,
and that was in 2012.
If you read that, though, the take that I get from it, the word propaganda, as what they're meaning, is stuff that's produced by the government. A lot of the stuff that we see are produced by corporations that aren't really associated with the government, but they still have as much power as the government.
Mhm.
So, these networks, they can still do whatever they want when it comes to what I would call propaganda, but they call it just, news. That's what their propaganda is. So, it's difficult to really pinpoint, exactly what is propaganda. Propaganda is what we're doing right now. We're that's propaganda, but it's not a bad thing. Propaganda is not a bad thing, but people have, of course, associated with a bad, it's just when it comes
Well,
from the
it
government, it
goes
has to be
against the
labeled.
cultural norms. It would go. It would be
Correct.
something that would go against the cultural norms. Social, weaponized anthropology, which we're going to get into.
Sure.
Now, yeah, you're right. Propaganda, I suppose, if you say propaganda to the average person on the street, they're going to probably think Nazi Germany,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
I mean, that's usually where it goes with your layman,
Yeah.
right? Propaganda, they're going to go Hitler.
But they won't understand, that it actually is the gun grab, or the fight for, our protecting ourselves with the open carry, like I've been going through in Texas. So yeah, that's propaganda that they start with, the school shootings that are fake that we all know.
Yes.
So that's propaganda,
Right.
and that's yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, propaganda on its own in a neutral term isn't bad or good.
Correct.
It just depends on what the intention is and the focus of that propaganda.
Sure. I mean, I've said from day one that any type of manipulation of the social, any type of perception reality management is wrong. I mean, people shouldn't do it. You should make your voice clear and say what you believe in, but that's what you believe in, and stand behind it. You don't send people out as hired protesters to, make a scene, to do this, to, push people's agenda a certain way. That's wrong. I mean, but you can, you're allowed to have your opinion, and that's what these social media groups are shutting down. The fact that we can't even say our opinion, we're not even doing anything wrong, we're just saying an opinion, they shut us down. That's horrible.
Yes.
Very horrible. It's dangerous.
But apparently there's no laws against it because they keep doing
Well,
it.
there is, because we have that, our Bill of Rights and things like that, where we do have free speech, but it is their free speech as well. And I've always said that these actors that are doing these roles and playing the roles in the media as victims in these fake crimes or these fake shootings, they're acting. So they're protected by their First Amendment rights too. They can act. There's nothing wrong with that. If you believe it, that's up to you. If if it
They just
affects
have
your life,
money.
yeah, they're getting paid to do it, and that
Yeah.
they're allowed to do it. So unfortunately, the rules that protect our freedom of speech are the same rules that those people that are attacking it use to protect their attack. So there's
It's
really no
being
way.
you're being attacked through a monetary system. Basically, they're just moving money towards very progressive ideas, and the more money keep pouring into one sector or political ideology, it's just gonna, it's just a mass swarm at that point.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. You see that with the gunfight. That's just, the gun laws are just, I don't
Well,
know.
you keep hitting them with lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit,
Yeah.
until you bleed them dry that way.
Correct.
No,
So that's how the NRA is being attacked. That's how the Catholic Church is being attacked now. Just keep pounding them with lawsuits. It's the American way.
It's true.
it's the American way.
Yeah.
Now getting into some of the actors that are involved in this social engineering.
Mm.
What you sent me today, and we'll start with that.
Sure.
So, for the listeners, today Ed sent me some information and some emails and letters corresponding with Homeland Security, correct?
Correct. Yep.
And you were going through the Freedom of Information Act to get some information, and the person of note was a James Tracy, correct?
Correct. Yes. And I did a video on him a while back.
Yeah.
If people remember that.
Yes, you did. I went and I looked on your site to see what was going on with that, because it rang a bell when you when you sent it to me, and then I went back today and I went and looked at all the stuff, and this was a tie-in with Sandy Hook, specifically Sandy Hook, and James Tracy was allegedly a professor, correct?
Correct, at FAU.
a professor at FAU who became, and maybe still is. Does he still maintain that kind of status as a truth seeker?
No, he's not he was fired from FAU, and then got into a lawsuit with them, and that was his whole basis for his new website. And basically, he's become this this figurehead, this forefront person for attacking the government, for them attacking our free speech, and attacking the college for them firing him when he was supposed to be a professor that was what do you call it he had
He was on our side.
correct. Well, yeah, well, that's what he claimed he was. But and what happened was when I did this video, because he started basically going on Alex Jones show and all these other shows, making the circuit basically between the alternative media people, and he was making this big fuss about getting fired for calling Sandy Hook a hoax. And so when I was doing a video on another topic, but it had to do with Homeland Security and their program, the HSEEP program, which is the program that pays these locations like these schools, airports, malls, any type of location that hosts a domestic terrorist drill, which these school shootings and everything else fall under. I found the actor's waiver form, which is you can go to DHS's website and download it. And when I downloaded it and I changed it over to a JPEG so I could put it in the video, I noticed something in the when you pull up the preferences or behind the file, you can see who created it and the date that it was created and all that personal information, the machine that it was created on, the name of it, whatnot. Mm-hmm. So when I looked at it, I saw the name James Tracy was the creator of it. And it said that he worked at Homeland Security and he worked for the HSEEP program. Now, come to find out, James Tracy, that's the same James Tracy that says that he got fired for calling Sandy Hook a hoax. So at that point, I went, wow, this is crazy. So during the time that he's been doing all this, he's working for Homeland Security. And he's now talking about Homeland Security as being behind these hoax events. So, he's a plant. And he talks about how they plant these actors in their society and they make them blend in. And I'm like, well, there he goes. That's him. He is one of these people that is paid by Homeland Security. So at that point, I decided that I was going to get some proof other than just this page that had his name on it. Mm-hmm. So I filed a Freedom of Information Act letter.
I'll bring. Is it okay if I share that with
sure.
the viewers? Okay.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right, because I have those up.
Yeah.
So here's the first one.
At first they said that the response was, "There's no such person. We don't know anything about that person. That's it." And I said, and this is before I showed them that paper that I had. I just asked for information about who is James Tracy. I wanted his employment records or his any type of training that he had, how long he's been involved in Homeland Security. And they said they had no record of this person. So then I sent another letter saying, well, wait a second. I have this document that was from your website that shows that James Tracy created this document that you guys are that can be downloaded from your website. So then at that point, then it went serious. So
what did they do right away?
they were like, "Oh, we're sorry." And then they tried to play this little game of, "Well, we need to have specific dates of when this person was employed." And I said, "Well, how are you supposed to give specific dates if I don't even know that the person was employed first? And I'm asking you when he was employed." I said, "I want all, from day one to today, if anybody's named James Tracy that's worked for you guys in the HSEEP program, That's what I want." And now it's going to the point where it's gotten to a I forget the level of the person, that a director's level, I believe, at the DHS, and they keep on sending back this form letter saying there's 4 or 5 people in front of you with their requests, and it's going to our division head for their approval, and it has to go through this chain for their approval, and then we'll have your report to you. So they keep on sending this letter back and forth to me, and it's now gone on about 2 months now.
Yeah, it started on April 1st. I've got the copy of the emails you sent here, and people can see it here. I think Monday, April 1st was the first.
Well, they actually, it started like at the turn of the year, so that was the first letter that I sent them, and then they actually canceled. They closed the case out, And I got this notice saying that it was closed out, and I sent them a letter saying, wait a second, you guys didn't even respond to it. What's going on here? And they apologized. It was a mistake. My case is not closed out. It's still active. And they just keep on playing this pass the hot potato, that type of thing, back and forth between the director heads.
And do you think it'll ever end?
I think it'll end once I get a lawyer. That's what I think will happen.
Yeah, man. That's one of the games they play, because I think what they're expecting, and what they're expecting is that people will just give up.
Sure. Or people don't realize that. We'll put it this way. I tell everybody, do you really think the Freedom of Information Act works? Do you really think they're going to tell on themselves? No, they're never going to tell on themselves. It's not going to happen. So don't even hold your breath. But if you have a lawyer, there are laws that are set in place that cause them to have to do certain things that it may force them to. Well, first of all, they've now admitted that James Tracy exists, that he does work for them, by just their reopening the case and now saying that they have the report on him and they're just waiting for the approval. So just in that in itself is, I think, an accomplishment. But we'll see. I don't think they're going to do anything unless they're forced to do, just like any other corporation.
Jesus, man! If you were a chess player, you'd be a master.
Well, yeah.
That's a great chess move. They've had to now reveal their queen.
Correct. So if they admit the fact that this guy was working for DHS and is part of that program, it looks really bad for the fact that this is basically, he's a plant, he's a spy, and he's in the alternative media and he's causing problems. But all these people.
Well, how did you find it? How did you link the two? How do you know for sure it's the same person?
Oh, because he's talking about the same things that this person was talking about, the actors waiver form. So of course he knows about. You think there's two James Tracys that actually, one has now been fired for calling the Sandy Hook a hoax, and he's now talking about the actors waiver form that he knows that DHS is using, and then there happens to be a guy that actually created the actors waiver form named James Tracy. What are the odds of that? And they could have easily said that. They could have easily said, "Oh, that's a different James Tracy." Okay, well, I want to know who that is then.
Well, yeah. After all, he was in academia. I mean,
Correct.
that's a calling card right there.
But he doesn't have a license. We searched him. Yeah, my team went after him and searched. And actually, I have a friend who is on my peer group who is, I'm not going to say his name, but he is actually a teacher down in that same district. And he actually knew exactly where to go to look for the license. And we couldn't find anything on this guy. So I tried to contact him and said, "Hey, James, you don't have a license to teach. You don't even have a license. Your doctorate is fake. So what's going on here?" And no response. So
wow.
Yeah,
that's incredible. If you guys are looking, I've got the page up that one of the pages up that Ed's got on his site. Go check it out. Now, first of all, you understand, you find out, okay, this guy's not a teacher. He's listed on this paid actor for Homeland Security. So you try to go and dig up the information through the Freedom of Information Act. You get hung out on the line again and again and again, and now you finally got them to admit that this man did work for us.
That's basically, and I'm still waiting for the report now because it has to. What was the last one that I sent you? If you want to read that, it's pretty funny because.
Is this the email?
Yeah, you'll notice the last response where it says that it's third in line or fourth in line. There's 3 other reports that are ahead of mine, and it's waiting for the district head or yeah.
It says here, "Good morning, Mr. Chiarini. We have completed the acting branch chief's review."
The acting, yeah. Exactly.
Now your appeal will be placed in the Information Management Director queue for final review, signature and release to you. There are 5 appeals in that queue ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
We apologize.
Now that's the third time I received that letter, and it's been like once was 4 people, once was 6 people in front of me. Yeah.
Incredible, man.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely incredible. And this is the system that it's funny because what you're going through here, and obviously you're picking at a scab that they are absolutely afraid of.
Yeah.
And
trying to get that weak spot where I can get in there and really cause a problem.
yeah. And for the average listener who might be unfamiliar with Ed's work, or might doubt some of the things that we discussed today, as far as bureaucracy is concerned, and what you're seeing in the letter in front of you, you'll experience that as an everyday person if you just try to go get a license to do anything from the government. So you got to understand that the scab that Ed's digging at is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
But the average NPC layman in the world can understand that the bureaucracy that we live under and the government system we live under and the people that are involved in it, they're not going to make anything easy for you.
No.
Especially this.
Yeah. Well, this would basically admit that everything that they've been doing is staged, and it's
Yes.
really it shows that they are actually putting people out there to manipulate other people's perception of reality in a bad way. And we're not saying it's in a good way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in a horrible way where basically they're trying to turn people against each other, make people look like conspiracy, people, and that's a bad term, of course, when it's really not. But and that causes the infighting and it causes everybody to splinter up, and that's what they want.
Yeah, they don't want people. They want people divided for sure.
Sure, absolutely.
Now, when it comes back to,
You're clicking again.
yeah, you're clicking again.
God damn it!
What did you move from your sweet spot? You were in.
I did move for a split second.
I thought he could get away with it.
You gotta get in his sweet spot. He has to stand on one leg and do some kind of weird windmill move, and then he's there. But anyway, back to this. As far as James Tracy is concerned, what we have here, as you mentioned before, excuse me, we have a man who is pretending to be somebody he's not, and who is involved in what a lot of my viewers and a lot of your listeners understand as alternative media.
Sure. There's no such thing.
Yeah. Yes, that's
it's all the same.
It's all the same. It's one of their terms. It's one of their terms to make us all feel better.
Yeah.
Because he was on when I was looking up the information you sent me. I Googled in his name and I went through a list of places he appeared on YouTube. And he appeared on one I'm subscribed to, and one I'm subscribed to it because Lamprey turned me on to him. His name's T. Kelly. And I'm like Lamprey, look at this.
Yeah, look at that. That's pretty wild, man. And T. Kelly's usually good at vetting them.
No, man, he got fooled.
Yeah.
Well, remember when I was really popular quite a few years ago when I was on Joyce Riley's show, I did the rounds on all those shows too, and a few of them had me back a second or third time, but after I really got specific in what I was doing, they basically shut me down, and the only person that would put me on was Joyce. And at that point I was getting really popular, so Joyce offered me a spot on her show, a permanent spot of a half hour to do whatever I wanted to do every day. And I turned it down because I realized what they were doing. They were trying to distract me from doing my work, because to try to prepare for even an hour a day for 5 days a week is very difficult when it comes to doing radio. And she has a team of people to do it. Well, she had a team of people to do it. Still, she's apparently dead, of course. They say. I don't know if she is or not. Don't ask me. But so but still, the way that they usually attack people that are actually doing something positive is they throw money at them, buy them out, or put them into the situation where they basically get turned. They're controlled opposition. So I decided to turn it down because I saw that what was coming, and that caused a lot of problems because I wasn't falling for their typical their buyouts. So
no, thanks to you. Like I'm just skeptical all the time.
Yeah, people say that's a bad way to be, but I really don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think you have to be nowadays. I mean,
No, absolutely. Like when you start to look, I've introduced Ed. I've introduced your work to a lot of my personal friends, and most of the time, people just tell me, "Oh, you're crazy."
Of course.
That's the initial reaction. But you give them time, and a lot of people do come around and go, "Okay, there's something here." And it is good. It is good to be skeptical about the information that you're receiving through the media. Be skeptical about me, people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know?
If you're not saying anything, I'm not worried about the work that I do because I know I back it up with the scientific backing, with the
Mhm.
ear biometrics and things like that. So I understand if somebody comes at me and says, "Oh, you're crazy," I go, "That's fine. You can think what you want because in another 2 years or whatever, they'll come back and send me an email saying, 'Oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong. I thought you were crazy at first. Now I looked at your work and now I believe it. I totally see what you're saying.'" So yeah, I mean, I have nothing to worry about. I know they'll come around eventually because that's the only way they can.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Now, on your site, you've got James Tracy as a Bush.
Yes,
You
correct.
still stand behind that?
I do. I do.
Okay, go. Let's go into that, man.
Sure. The fact is that a lot of these families, of course, they're fake families. They're organized. They're put together by, of course, whoever is controlling the people above them, and the Bush family being one that goes back. And I've done the studies on these people, where I mean, we can basically say that the Kennedy, the Carter, the who else? Okay, Bush and the Clintons,
Yep.
all those families are basically all one big group, and they're actually all related to one another. And the
Yes.
fake names that they've used, they've splintered off those names way back in the beginning of this country. Some of them go back to the Roosevelts, and they do that because they diversify that name. Because if you wouldn't vote for this one family if they've been, if you knew 5 or 6 of their members were presidents, you'd
Yes.
say it's rigged, something's rigged. So, and of course, they don't want to do that because if their family member is in at the Oval Office and they want to play favorites with the other family members, they can't give those grants or they can't give those contracts to somebody that has the same last name, or that would be illegal. So they create this fake families and they splinter the groups up so they can still pass the ball back between each other.
Yeah. And
It's a game.
and it's funny because you said that well they don't want people will get suspicious if they keep
Sure.
but we still do.
Yeah, but we have no means of there's no real smoking gun when it comes to the average person out there to say, look, all these people are related. And they go, okay, well, then they actually have to sit down and look at the evidence. It's not like if they're all one name, you go, okay, yeah, maybe they are.
Yes, absolutely.
So, and you look back all the way back to Teddy Roosevelt and the trust busting laws that he put in place. All that was to stifle his competition because his family, with the diversified names, were all getting the contracts that, of course, if they knew who they were, they couldn't because of the trust busting thing. So it was just a way of stifling the opposition.
Well,
Yeah.
not only that, if you go back into history for the past 2, 3, 4,000 years, it's always been families.
Sure.
What's to say it's not now? Oh,
Sure.
because of democracy? Get the
Yeah.
fuck out of here.
Once in power, always in power. I say that all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
To think any way else is just stupid. I mean,
well,
you
it's
can't.
for the masses. It's a safe way to think. Because to be quite
Well, it's a shield.
Yeah.
These people that have done it, they've created that to be a shield. That's why we don't have royal families here when actually we really do. So
yeah, we all think that the royalty doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah, because they're not wearing a crown. Now they just wear a blazer.
Yeah, now it's worse. Yeah, they have their $1 million houses over here, and you don't even know that they're royals, but they're still pulling the strings. I tell people, look at those castles over there. Those castles are massive. The amount of money that these families had was just enormous. And do you think that money just disappeared? No, it got invested into the businesses around them, into the people, into their land, and they continued to grow and grow and grow their profit.
Yeah.
And they are still as massively rich as ever before, and we just don't know who their names are. Of course, they throw out the straw ones, the Rothschilds and all those
Yes.
names just to appease us and give us a bad guy to look at, and that's the enemy. When they're sitting back there and they're the ones that actually are creating that false front.
Yeah.
But we'll never know who they are. I don't think.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But I was going to say too is that part of this, what we're coining is, well, we didn't coin it, but weaponized anthropology, which basically does mean social engineering, and that's what these people are masters at.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They are masters at engineering our lives by creating these false identities and writing history in real time.
And writing the rules of history, like
Yeah.
with religion, they created religion.
Yes.
everybody knows the King James Version. What do you think? The king would actually write a book that actually told people not to worship a royal? No. I mean, come on. This is common sense. So you have to look at the things behind it and, realize that religion is used to basically to stifle the people, to put them in a place where they're not going to step out of line or they'll go to hell.
Yeah. It's the opiate of the masses.
Yes. It's all a mechanism of control.
Yeah. And I was going to say, too, is that when you were talking about, the families and the names, look, they voted two Bushes in back to back.
Sure. And if you know that, remember Perot? Remember Ross Perot?
Yes.
He's one of them. He's a cousin. So when you had Ross Perot, you had George W. Bush, and you had Clinton, they're all related. They're all the same freaking family. They were running for president. It didn't matter who won.
Yes.
It didn't matter because it's the same family over and over again.
Yeah. And also, just to kind of put dirt in our eye, too, I mean, how many celebrities are we going to vote as president?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just...
I wish people would really, we've talked about this before. When I found basically the paperwork that all politicians, anybody who runs for office has to sign, and you look at the candidate oath form.
Yes.
And at the bottom of that candidate oath form, which is something that everybody has to sign when you run for office, it says type of ID shown or personally known. And that or personally known thing is something that I took to my lawyer and I asked him. I said, "Can you run for office and never have to show an ID?" And he said, "Yep." And that was a pivotal moment of my life right there, because I realized that, wow, all these people they're just fake. And then you look at Jesse Ventura as an example.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the man says that that's not his name. He says it's not even registered to his person, and yet he was governor of Minnesota signing official documents with Jesse Ventura, a fake name. Yes. How do you do that? Can you go down to the courtroom and file paperwork and sign a fake name on it? No, it's a felony.
Yeah.
So, you have to start really realizing that these people that are in office, they're put there. They are put there as actors, and they are basically doing the bidding of whoever put them there.
Yes.
And it could be anybody.
And I want to mention to the viewers that are watching, go back to the last stream I did with Ed on my channel, and I have a link to that very document there.
Yeah.
I won't put it up here. You guys can do you need to do a little legwork yourself. Just go back to the old videos we did. I have a link up to that very document.
Yeah, and if you want, if anybody's a lawyer or anybody knows a lawyer and has, personal ties with them that can ask them a question, maybe has them on retainer, ask them, can you run for office and never have to show an ID? And if that lawyer really knows their stuff, if they've worked in politics before, they of course will tell you, yeah, absolutely. Because there's so many people. You know how many people ran for president to the office of president last time? Yeah. Over 6,000 people. But did you ever hear their name? No. But if you you can go pull it up online. You can see the 6,000 people that ran, and a lot of them are crazy names. I mean, there's just insane names. And
Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse. Yeah, they scribble anyone's name in. Yep, that's
and
common
they're
knowledge.
They're allowed to do it, and people don't realize this, and they go, "Well, wait a second. Do you really believe his name is Trump?" I mean, really? Come on, people. I mean, Trump.
Yeah, man.
So when they come from a family that's been doing this forever, of course, people go like, "Well, he was named Trump when he was a kid." Well, yeah, because the family, they know how to do this. They're going to continue passing down the baton to the next generation. And, the names are just fake. I mean, we even know right now that Bill Clinton, that's not his real name. It's Bill Blythe. I mean, William Blythe. So where did the Clinton come from? Well, gee, I wonder. It's a fake name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. God, and go all the way back to Reagan. I mean,
of course.
But my point is that regardless of what we're talking about, even the most blue-pilled regular NPC guy, right, that watches baseball every day, watches their drama on TV every day, watches their sports, they don't even flinch when you say, "Hey, how come there was 2 Bushes in a row?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just that real...
It's because they're comfortable with the name. It's a name they know. They know what they're going to get out of the individual going by the family name.
Sure. But, we all know...
You'd have to be so fucking brain dead to have voted for Hillary Clinton. Do you know how scary that is? How many people voted for that woman? How frightening that is? You really got to put that into perspective, that you have that many stupid people out there.
Well, I mean,
Either one.
we could take that even a step further and say that people that voted period are just stupid because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. They're going to put whatever they want in office, and that's just the way it's going to be. The person that's going to cause the most conflict is one's going to get in, and there you go.
Yeah. Well,
that's the one that creates most stories for the news media.
Yes, they create the content.
Correct.
God, has there ever been a more content-friendly president than Trump?
I don't think so. He's been, that was their golden ticket right there. Because now they have the enemy all wrapped up in one, and they can whenever there's a slow news day, they can just roll one of the tweets out.
Are you kidding
It's every day. All they do is talk about Trump. It's every single news article.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Trump could fart. Trump could fart in an elevator, and the media would say he tried gassing people.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? CNN survives off of just talk. Like it's what I find the most incredible, and it's like a magic. It's like magic, is how well these families have created this ability to create content.
Sure, but our content though, when we create it, we're haters and we get banned.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's incredible. I mean, these people are wizards.
Oh yeah, they've been doing this for so long. They have the rule book handed down to generation after generation, so they know what's going on. They have the human psychology down just pat. They know exactly what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. Whenever they push a button, that's what we do.
They've been studying us for how long? Do you know
thousands of years.
How much money has been poured into the Rockefeller Foundation just doing studies upon studies on human psychology?
Sure.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. And great minds, and all they do is pick apart the human brain just to tweak it to the point where they know they want to stress test you. Like, it's like a voodoo doll sticking it with pins and needles,
Or sticking a social media site in front of people and saying, let's see what they do. Oh, they're going to populate it with their own information that, of course, we would have had to pay enormous fees to have all that data put into one place, but we'll let the people do it for us.
Yeah.
And we'll just sit back and watch them do it. And we can watch the trends. We can sell off that to Google and to the military. And it's all just a propaganda game. But it's all data.
And we'll make them believe that they're doing it for free.
Yeah. I told people, they were like, well, you get free email from Gmail and all that. I'm like, you never get anything for free from a corporation. They're not allowed to give it to you for free because there's always something behind that free thing that they give you. There's always a collection of some data somewhere or a positioning of a certain idea. So then therefore they can roll out something else. So Gmail, the other Yahoo Mail, they give it to free. Here you go, free. And everybody goes, okay, great. We'll send all our personal information right across that Gmail server that they own, and they have the rights to it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people just need to wake up.
Funny you mentioned this is that I just downloaded like this kind of like a dieting app, and it's like $3 a month, and you count your calories and stuff like that. It says we need to gain access to your audio. To your microphone. I'm like, wait, you're a dieting app. Why do you want to gain access to my microphone? And of course you say no. Now you can't download the app because you said no to the microphone. That's how they get you.
Yeah, there's those flashlight apps that people have. If you look at those, they are absolutely just built to be spies. That's all it is. Why does a flashlight app have to have access to my connections,
camera.
my camera, and everything else? Why?
Yeah.
I know why. But these are things that we have to we allow them a certain access to our life, and it should be expected that we're always monitored, always, and just
laugh at them. What you do is don't be scared. You mock and laugh at them. You listen to me talking shit about trainees. What are you gonna do about it?
Close your account down.
Yeah, right.
Shut your YouTube down. Click, or they put feedback in your broadcast.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. Is that you're supposed to, there's no. You have the right to freedom of assembly. So if you have like a community center or something, if you spread, advertisements all over the place that you're having a get together, wouldn't it be that expensive to do? And you get a group of, you join a club, you do stuff, and that used to be part of the church. The church was part of that entity inside the community where men used to get together, and they just don't have that anymore because we're much more secularized now.
Yeah, it is true. But when you do have that right to assembly, it's only a right to assemble to a certain degree, and then you have to have a license.
Right.
You have to have a permit.
Yeah, we can't just all go, hey, let's all go meet on the corner of 5th and 3rd today and have a
Yeah,
chat.
no. Yeah.
Doesn't work, man.
No. So, yeah.
No, and
It's a shame.
And I want to go back a few minutes to what we were saying about, and I mentioned wizardry, and I've heard that before from a few other talking heads. I am impressed, absolutely impressed, and I think other people should be too, about how well these families have created this. It's a spell. It's a spell book. Like
It's spell. Yeah, words are spells. I mean, they cause people. They invoke feelings in people. When you call a person a name, it causes you to have a reaction to it. So yeah, they're spells. It's definitely causing a reaction, and they know the exact words to use to spells to get you to do things, or to make you mad, or to make you do whatever they want.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible, and I think, like I said, when we're talking about when we use the title "Weaponized Anthropology," again, anthropology, the study of human beings. A study of human beings and human history. It's become weaponized, and we said it was thousands of years.
Sure. No, it's since the beginning of human written language.
Recorded history.
Yeah. I mean, Greek, Romans they've been hiring actors to create things that have to do with politics in the middle of the streets, and that's written about. So they've been hiring actors to do the same things that they're doing today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Protesters, groups of angry mobs of people, they're hired to do things to make that the front page news.
I've seen the ads on Craigslist and Backpage for demonstrators needed, $20 an hour.
Yep. That's an actor's waiver form right there, waiting for them when they get there.
Yeah.
From James Tracy.
And I showed that from your website too. I mean, it's real, man.
Yeah.
No pushback. That's my frustration. Zero pushback.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Because the average man is too busy working and paying taxes that funds this bullshit.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, what are people supposed to do? Become, weekend warriors, but they can't.
You
they
can't.
Got families,
you got a mortgage to pay.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Jesus.
I mean, it's difficult. There's no way out of it, but, I don't know.
Sir,
I can't.
feudalism. It's feudalism.
Yeah.
But, it's the sick way. It's the sick engineering that's behind it, the malignancy. As we're going to get into, as I'm going to show you some pictures tonight, Ed, on what I'm subjugated to on a daily basis, right around, living in New York. It's hard, dude. It's serious, man. It's pretty serious. People are waking up, though. I really do feel, even amongst, the plebes that just don't pay attention to everything, because now you see the social engineering is being written in their own languages, so now it's pointing at them. So I definitely do see it, because they don't like strong family values. They don't like bonds. Okay, the Americanism has to subvert that. It has to go underneath the family and rip out its entrails.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, what I'll do is I'll pull up the photos that Lamprey took. And you're originally a Jersey, no, where, Philadelphia boy.
Philly,
right?
yeah,
You're a Philly boy. So I don't know. My experience of the East Coast of the States is very minimal. I was born on the West, and I go there. That's what I know. I don't know the East.
East Coast is very different from anywhere else. It's really East Coast, especially Northeast Coast, is very
Northeast
very
Coast. Yeah.
Yep. People are just different.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a lot of it's more, again, with the showing these photos, it's more urban centers. It doesn't have to be New York City. This is happening in San Francisco, LA. I'm sure it's happening in Philadelphia, just on different levels. But depending on how much the oligarchic control there is in these locations, like it's not going to be in Mobile, Mississippi, because the oligarchs don't really care about it, and they don't have a strong footing in those locations. But they do have strong footing in like Singapore, London, New York City, things like this. These areas that create the wealth,
the trends, and
the trends. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Well, San Francisco's full of human feces now, so
it's getting worse.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to share the screen.
It's 17 people, homeless people a day in LA. 17 a day.
What, new homeless people a day?
Yes, yes.
You know, I'm planning on going down there next year. So I'm going to do a tour and see for myself.
You're
You
gonna
got to
make sure
go to the
stop
slums.
Stop at Texas too. Stop in Dallas.
Yeah, I might, man. I might
Yeah.
do that. I got to go down. My kid is 12 now, and he's never been to Disneyland.
Oh, you got to take them.
And I grew up going to LA all the time and going to Disney. I got family there, so I haven't taken him there, and my family hasn't met him. So I'm like, okay, man, okay, kid, I'm taking you to Disneyland. And if I can, I'll try and make it over to Texas.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. Okay, so let's go through Lamprey's photos. These are incredible, man.
I'm waiting for this. This is gonna be funny, right?
And this is and again, this is part of social engineering. Let me see. Screen is sharing. All right, there might be a lag there for you guys if you're looking at the stream, because YouTube. We're not talking.
It's buffering over here.
Yeah, it's buffering everywhere. They don't. It's because we're not talking about talking about how to put makeup on trannies. Like if we were doing that, we would have smooth stream, 100%, 100%. Okay, Lamprey, is this the right video? This is. This is number 1 from the first file.
Is it the white and I'm sorry, it's the 2 men tucking in the little boy?
Yes.
And what does it say at the top of it? Can you read it for everybody?
I'll read it for the people as this. Unfortunately, we got the buffering going on. Sorry about that, viewers. It's really been hitting us hard in the last couple of weeks. ICP Museum 250 Bowery on view now for freedoms. Where do we go from here?
Well, where do we go from here, AM?
Straight to hell, man.
Well, read between the lines what that poster is. To me, this is the most diabolical I've ever seen down there. That's why I wanted to show it to you guys first. Now, I've tried showing this photo to other people. More than half of them can't see what I see.
Okay, well, go explain it. Explain it to us. Give us a tour of the New York subway propaganda.
Well, it's 2 sodomites with 2 little boys that are sleeping, and above it says, "Where do we go from here?" I don't know, man. You're a smart guy. Why don't you put the 2 and 2 together?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is a. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's.
It's implied. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the thing that we talk a lot about it. And again, you're trying to reveal the people that are engineering this, right?
Sure.
They got names. I mean, and we obviously we don't know their real names, but they have names, and they're the ones that are. They're the royal families that have enough money to make this campaign continue.
Well, how do you keep a museum open? Okay, so this is a piece of they're doing an exhibit somewhere in Manhattan that's going to show art like this, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who's going to go and actually see it? That's the first question. What sick, demented individual is going to go to an art gallery that's displaying 2 sodomites who are, blah 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 blah?
Yeah.
Who's funding these things? Who's supporting this venture?
I don't know, but
Yeah,
when it comes to the arts and all that stuff, you do have that controversy, but who's to say? I mean, it's such a gray area, what's called art and what's not. But what we do, speaking with the voice,
they're defining art. They're defining art by just showing 2 homosexuals with 2 sleeping, nubile, little white children.
Well, they're trying to push the envelope. But you're going to get a majority of people to push back with that, and possibly they'll get a couple people to show up at that viewing, and it'll be done, and they won't do it again because they won't make any money on it.
Well, guess what? On Monday night, guess where I'm going to go to a town hall meeting for the subways. I'm going to be asking the head of the MTA, what the hell does this poster mean exactly?
Make sure you record it. Record the audio.
Yeah, do, man. Record it. Record the audio.
I should, yeah.
No, you have to.
You have to.
You have to.
You can't go to these things and not record it and say, "Hey, I did this." No, you got to record that.
Yeah.
I want to hear you saying it. Yeah.
And I was gonna say, Ed, what you do is art. This is not art. This is propaganda disguised as art. Evil, bad propaganda disguised as art.
Go to the next one.
Next one.
I wish we could see them. I mean, we can't. It's still buffering.
Is it still buffering?
No, not seeing anything on my end.
Bitch. So
no one can see it.
No.
So it's pointless. Unbelievable. Look, I'm sorry guys for the buffering. I don't even know if you can, but I tell you the whole stream has been output low, and that's rare. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen.
And we couldn't even get on Skype.
Yeah, I know.
Keep on kicking us off.
They keep kicking us off Skype.
Yeah, it is. No, it's working. It's going on my.
Is it?
Can you guys hear us?
Oh, we can hear, but I can't see anything. It just has the desktop with the Wellaware logo and it's buffering.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's spinning.
Yeah. So we can't. We can't even do this, man. We can't even go through your pictures.
Yeah.
And I can't. I mean, I've already changed all the settings to get lowest output possible. I've plugged straight into my modem. There's no reason why this.
You want to stop and come back in?
Wait, stop the stream and try and bring it back?
Yeah.
It's not going to help, man. I don't think it's going to help.
Yeah. Now they've targeted it. So
no, it's like this. It's never this slow. Like it's never to the point where for 20 minutes straight of buffering. I mean, what the fuck? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just it's cutting in and out.
Yeah.
It's on my end.
And if I'm looking at the live stream studio here, and it is just straight video output low, straight buffering. Doesn't change. You know, occasionally in the past it would happen, and then you would get a green. It'd be like, okay, you're good, and it'd go and go and go. Now it's just straight.
Yeah, it's not working.
No. We're gonna have to just save the pictures for another time.
We post them on Wellaware 1 if you want.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'll give you access to it, and you can write a story and put it up there.
All right, well, give it to Lamprey, man. They're his photos.
Yeah, send it to me in a.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll do that, and in the meantime, let's just keep going through what we were discussing before. Now, going back a bit there, Ed, and going back again to James Tracy. Let's focus on that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that this man you're calling out as a Bush.
Yep.
And working for the Homeland Security.
Yep.
Right.
Or he did work for.
He did
possibly might not now, but of course I'm sure he does because that's what he's talking about. And yeah.
No.
If he did work for them and was fired or whatnot, then he wouldn't be talking about him because it would violate his employment agreement. So.
Okay, but but up to this point, they've admitted it, right?
They've admitted it by not denying it, basically. By at first, them denying that he existed, and then all of a sudden I said, well, wait a second, I have this paper with his name on it. Here you go, that he created it. Then they backpedaled and said, okay, yeah, we have this information now. We're waiting to get it approved. So, yeah, I mean,
wizardry.
That right there. Yeah.
That's wizardry. Yeah. That's their spell book of wizardry.
Yeah.
How did you say it again? By
them denying it. We proved it just by their denial.
Yeah.
Of it.
Yeah. So by not saying it, it's sort of like lying through without saying any by omission, lying by omission.
Correct. Yes. Correct.
Yeah. So again, that's part of their wizardry. Now,
yep.
Going back to it for at least for the sake of the listeners, these families and especially the Bushes and this man's particularly was involved in, or maybe not involved in the way that sounds, but was a part of the Sandy Hook.
Sure.
But more as a commentator.
Correct. But also, if you do understand that he is who I say he is, Marvin Bush, then he has ties, of course, to 9/11. He has ties to a lot of events that have gone on that were basically terrorist events. But now that we know that he's an employee of DHS, then it all falls in line with them being behind these things and putting the money to promote these things, the domestic terrorist drill, so then they could then pass the laws to put us more in check. So, the Patriot Act, things like that. These are little techniques that they do, especially with the gun grab, the school shootings. They make everybody feel like, oh, they're killing all these kids at these schools, so we got to pass these bills, we got to pass these laws, when there's none of this is going on. It's fake. So they're trying to create laws to keep us, to stifle us, basically. And I've had to fight this personally in Texas with the open carry thing with my case that I won in the Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. So it personally affects some people like myself, and it costs a lot of money to fight these people. So,
well, what's your take now? My biggest red pill moment was in fact Sandy Hook. Mm-hmm. Sandy Hook really just changed my life because I watched that whole thing unfold, and within the first hour or two, I said to myself, "Oh, they're gonna go after the guns, right?" Mm-hmm. And when they first said that he did it with handguns, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Obviously, he's going to be shooting children in the classroom. You're not going to be carrying large assault rifles and stuff. And then within 5 minutes after telling the masses that it was handguns, they said, no, it was assault rifles. And I'm like, wait a second, hold on. Okay, I see where this is going. And that really just kind of just woke me up to a lot of the bullshit that's going on. And that coincided around the time Gaddafi was killed. And then we started funding jihadists in Syria. So I saw what was happening on the global political theater, and then I was seeing what was happening here nationally. So I kind of those two things really coincided and really just woke me up to a lot of the bullshit that's transpiring.
The other thing that people should really realize is when you listen to those events when they happen, and you happen to catch the interviews at the beginning of the event, not the ones that they've already edited and everything else towards the as time passes. Right when the event happens, those raw interviews. Pay attention to them, because you'll see things that they accidentally let slip or that they didn't realize, like the little kids talking about, oh yeah, we had fire drills that day, or we had drills that day. Everything, there was a drill that day. 9/11, there was drills that day.
Yep.
All of them, they had drills that day, and that should tell you something, And the drill is usually the thing that the event that took place was actually the drill. So like planes flying into buildings, that was a drill that day, and it actually happened. 7/7 bombings in London. Oh, they had a drill of bombs blowing up on the buses. Oh, and that just happened to happen that day. Yeah, come on.
I got a better one. None of the family members of the people killed at Sandy Hook filed a lawsuit.
Well, yeah, there you go. I mean, well, actually, they supposedly did, but I mean,
that's so un-American. How do you not file a lawsuit?
Sure, wrongful death. Yeah, of course.
But you said they supposedly did?
Well, they're supposedly following harassment charges against.
No, that's not the same. You didn't file. They didn't file against the school.
Correct.
You didn't file against the city, the state of Connecticut. Yeah. You didn't sue anybody.
Correct.
Okay. Yep. Not only that, who put the porta potties? Who made the call to get the porta potties before you called the ambulances?
Yeah.
Well, Jesus, God.
Well,
the porta potties. The porta potties.